It's Friday. We made it. Looks like we made it. Welcome to Night Court. Court's in session. I'm glad to have you all here with me. I couldn't do this any other way. So thank you for being here. You've made it through another week, as have I. It was dicey for a little bit there. For those of you who tuned into True Crime and Wine Time stream last night, thank you. Also, sorry because apparently my brain had it. I feel terrible. I absolutely noticeably dozed, and that's really hard to do when it's two hosts on a podcast. But here we are. What are you gonna do, right? So much happening, so much going on. Brandi is at Comic-Con. I've been seeing some videos and some pictures and stuff, and I'm sure she'll have a full-on report. When she gets back. She's meeting some cool folks. She basically stood in the front while Creighton Waters did his thing on his guitar. A lot of it looked good. A lot of it looked good. Yeah, Creighton can wail on that guitar. I'm a little jealous. I would love to chat with him at some point. Did I say Comic-Con? Did I really say Comic-Con? Oops, I meant CrimeCon. Yeah, Brandy's not at Comic-Con. Yes, she's cosplaying as Rogue. No. It's CrimeCon. Y'all, it's been that kind of a week. Thursday, I was DJing a fundraiser for the program I work for, and that was 3 hours or 4 hours of picking music and making sure people were happy. But we did the wobble and we made it through. We did the wobble and we made it through. I felt like Weebles wobbles and then they fall down this time. So tonight is going to be a bit abbreviated, a little shorter. My brain needs rest. I want to explain something that happened last night, and then we'll get to the next bit in a second here. But I was presenting the Moores murders, which was researched and written by Shireen, and I was recording it for True Crime and Wine Time, but then was going to cross over and use it for Sidebar. And I made it until the last sentence, and there were a couple times throughout the script where my brain just shut down and restarted real fast. But then at the end of the script, I got what I call the mental blue screen of death, which is, hi, Frankie. Sheena, thank you for 1 month. Thank you. I'm happy you're here too. Hello, Frankie. So yes, yeah, definitely did that for sure. But the last line in the script, it's the line where I'm like, we feel for, or we stand with the families who don't have answers. It was serious. And I got maybe 3/4 of the way through the line and my brain blue screened. And I ended up slipping into something that I said during the fundraising event earlier that day, which was like something along the lines of, no, you have to get a towel to clean the mess up. I have no idea where it came from. It was really odd, but yes, here we are. So anyways, that is all short to say. It's going to be abbreviated tonight. We'll probably try to go, I'll attempt 10:15, 10:30, but that just means we'll have the quiz a little bit earlier this time around. So, yep. I've been there. In fact, today I was designing a couple of things. Actually, no, I was putting the quiz together, and I was in Canva, and I was typing, and I woke up to just 100 lines of S's. Because that's what happens. Shireen, thank you so much for gifting a membership. Petrified, you're back. You're back. Grab yourself some Kool-Aid and pull yourself up a chair. Okay, so Wednesday I need to fly. That's very tempting. It's very tempting. Oh boy, travel trailer. That sounds fun. So I promised you guys that I would record Little Bruise Crime and his reaction, and I remembered. It's one thing that I did remember. And so this, if you didn't see it on YouTube, I posted the picture of the donation. Um, cool thing about the donation, apparently, if you donate as like corporate, which we're not corporate per se, but you know, we're more than one person. They let you put up the link and stuff so people can click on it, and so maybe people come from there. Um, but we are the largest corporate donor so far. So that's awesome. Um, he has more than met his goal. He is very much excited. And so I am going to play that reveal for you now. Here we go.
What?
I mean, what?
I want to know.
So you remember Dad was...
Yeah.
I said
Yeah.
I was going to ask folks about donations and stuff.
Yeah.
And raising money.
Yeah.
So I did that last night. And some folks donated, which is good. Do you want to know how much?
How much?
Are you going to read the number to me?
Yeah. $739,000. I get a drown. It's over 400.
It is over 400.
Yes. Yay!
Is that how much it was? Over 400?
Yeah, I had to get over 400.
Yeah.
I've never gotten over 400 this year. Yay!
Yeah.
Whoops.
What happened?
I changed it.
Oh, okay. Well.
I had to cut it there because all of a sudden the Bluey theme song came in. He was very excited. He was very excited. Yeah. So, one of the top two, yeah. So the top two prizes are like a video drone and then like a pair of custom Nikes with a $150 gift card. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with these kids these days, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Here's the important part. That money is going to go straight to the school, and they're going to be able to use that. And I think it's very helpful. So thank you to all of you who had a part in it. Thank you to all of you who were there on Wednesday to just thank you for being there. It's really cool, and not only that, but what that kind of signals to me that every now and again, not regularly, because that's just not how it would work well, but every now and again we could do something like a fundraiser or something like a streamathon, in which I would get a lot of sleep and then stream for 24 hours or 12 hours or whatever that might be. And we do that as a fundraiser for a common cause, a cause that we believe in, a cause that needs support. And so I think that's kind of, maybe twice, 3 times a year, because it's once, twice, 3 times a lady. So maybe 2 or 3 times a year we do something like that. But thank you for proving that it can be done. Because you never know, and I hate asking for money. But it was for the little guy, and so I pushed past it. Dang it, I pushed past it. 24-hour JT-a-thon. Yeah, and we would have to find some. I'd literally have to plan out a bunch of stuff. But yes. That's funny. It's also probably true, maybe. Okay. So, Petrified, I don't want to forget, thank you for gifting the membership and paying it forward. Kelly P, welcome back to the cult. So, thank you so much. Have you guys seen those people on like Twitch? Not Twitch, maybe Twitch too, but like TikTok? They like stream themselves sleeping, and like certain donations do certain things or play certain songs. It's so weird. It's so odd. There's no way I could. That's weird. I don't snore anymore thanks to having a tonsillectomy 2 years ago. But meh. What's up with that? What's up with that? Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, you can see behind me, you can see that the desk is gone. Right now, everything is messier. It's always messier when you start making changes. And so I'm going to be trying to I've bought myself like 18 like cool square storage things that are open, and they're not industrial per se, but they're you can move them around and stuff. So my plan is to have them here and then put all of the stuff that you all have sent me on those, along with books and stuff like that, to make it a little more presentable so it's not just a desk. And then I want to do something over here, like, I don't know, clean up what's behind this curtain and then put the curtain around the way. Who's the guy on the wall? That is Dick Van Dyke. That's a signed Dick Van Dyke poster or photo. He is by far one of my acting heroes and stage heroes. I love him and his physicality. So, yes, that's Dick Van Dyke. So there's a lot to do, little time to do it in. I also got me a little a thermal printer for labels, and so I'm going to start rewiring and cleaning things up because it's driving me crazy. And I'll probably use that thermal printer to mark wires once and then forget that I even have it. But that's okay, because at one point, at some point, I'll find it again. Oh, they're not going anywhere. They are not going anywhere at all. The neon is literally the neon is quite literally sticking around. It is the brand of Night Court. So, if anything, I'll move them down to make them more visible. So, yes, they are. So initially, my desk was against that wall. They do suck in some of the sound. I have since moved towards a corner, and actually, it's a diagonal. It's an angled wall here, and then over here, everything is covered in sound tiles. I think it does work. I actually just bought spray adhesive, and I'll be sticking them to the walls with spray adhesive rather than what I've been using, which are pins in the wall. I don't normally like to do permanent things like that, but also I'm not going anywhere anytime soon in this house, so I'd have time to fix it. But yeah, no, they do help. There's a lot of stuff that can be done. It's as simple, honestly, it's as simple as going in a closet and covering up with a blanket. A lot of podcasters will go into like a closet and record there because the clothes just muffle the sound. So, yeah. Let's see what else. Yes, I do. I do comics. Yeah. Are you talking? You're not talking about stand up, I assume. I'm not like up to date. I have a good friend of mine. He has a podcast uh, called Office Hours with Dr. C. And I went to grad school with him, and he teaches communication theory through pop culture, specifically comics, superheroes, that kind of media. And he is brilliant and just retains all the things comics wise. But if you like that kind of stuff, check out Office Hours with Dr. C. And I'm planning on having him come on the show sometime soon, because I think he's fun. He's fun. He's good times. And he was my dungeon master at a certain point, because that's where I'm at. All right, so are folks coming in this way? Did we really stressed? Yes, I believe you. Me too. I'm glad you all are here. Neon is forever. It's never going anywhere. Yes, we added a recipe section. Oh, correction, the mods did. And so send your recipes. I like trying things. I'm not necessarily always great at doing it, but I will try. Hello. welcome to the stream. What Eddie said and Jen said. You guys are so welcoming and all of that. Dave, welcome in. Well, Tommy, welcome in too. But hey, Dave, and hi. Please don't stop the music. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. I think the next thing that we need to do is what we normally do. Why do I see Ricky doing this? See Ricky doing it. I don't know if you heard that, but I'm going to do it again. She's here, everybody. Stop behaving. She's here, everybody. Stop the behaving. Congratulations to the top 5. Thanks for being in here as soon as I hit go. I appreciate you. All right, so because this is abbreviated, do I have a ghostly? That's a really it's a really good question. So when Lori Vallow happened, right, and I was reading the love story and the portal and the storm and everything that way, I think it was Frankie. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Frankie because I think it came in the same boxes as this tortilla blanket or this burrito blanket. But it's like a romance novel kind of background. Yeah. So so you're close. You're close for sure. I know, doesn't it seem like it seems so long ago, but it really wasn't. Y'all, here's the crazy part. And I think I've said this before on the channel. Also, we have 69 watching. That's funny. The average YouTube channel grows by about 1,000 people a year in the beginning, if they're lucky. Y'all have turned out, and I appreciate it. We are very, very close to the 10K. I think like 172 away. So feel free to, and it is free to share with your friends and maybe not. I don't know. It depends on how your family is. You can share with your enemies as long as they're not, trolls. Because we don't need to give the mods more to do. So yes. All right. You know what? Let's hop into it, guys. Let's hop right into the quiz. I would love to say yes, but I'm pretty sure that gets people canceled. Diana, thank you for gifting those 5 memberships. Please don't stop the Please don't stop the music. Dale, Monica, Brandi, Kansky, Golden Girl. Welcome to the cult. Grab your Kool-Aid with a C and an E because of copyright infringement.
Oh yeah!
And pull a chair up by typing !seat. Appreciate it. Can we drop? Nope, Angie's got it. Angie just posted the command, so it should be popping up here in a second. There it is. And while you're accessing that, I will go over the rules once more. But also, if you're not somebody who can like watch and do, and you just have a sheet of paper, you can do that too and enter it later. Time, and as long as you get it in before Wednesday at 8:45 next week, it counts for just as many points. Okay. All right. Again, you have until the following Wednesday at 8:45 to submit your answers. Quizzes are awarded points based on how many correct answers you submit. 10 correct equals 10 points. In addition, since I've added bonus things, if you get the question wrong, but you get the bonus right, you're going to get a point. Okay, you won't get full 2 points, but you're going to get a point. Just because you missed one thing, part of a question, and you've got the other thing, which is usually harder, why wouldn't I give you a point? Yes, no answers in chat, please. No answers in chat. That would be ideal. And by that I mean they'll be deleted. All right. Is RA in here? Did I miss every single post he's had? Don't see anything. Hopefully he's okay. Oh yeah. Can you have what in as a pin? I'm confused. That's okay. All right, we're going to keep going. Oh, hey, you can't see what I'm reading to you. It would be very helpful if you could. Here we go. Wow. Wow, me. Wow, me. All right. And then at the end of each month, the monthly winner's crown, points reset, and then we start all over again. What's up, Slick? All right, so here's where the leaderboard stands currently. Top 10, Angie Burr, Jody Allgood, Lisa Wilmot, Kelly 56, 2006, Shunka Bacon, City Kitty 865, Linda Kane, Teresa, Candace Hoff, and Shireen. But do not be do not be afraid. For this quiz is worth a possible 20 points. All right. And for those of you who don't remember, this quiz is movie trivia. I got my popcorn here, thanks to Mrs. Bruce Crime. She didn't know I was doing movie trivia tonight, but it works. It works. All right. Let's get started. What do you say? That's not it. That's not how we would do that. Here we go. All right. Again, you can write these down. You can enter them later. I will go over them one more time at the end. What was the first feature-length animated movie ever released? Was it A, Fantasia, B, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, C, Steamboat Willie, or D, Dumbo? Remember, no answers in chat. Just write them to yourself. Again, what was the first feature-length animated movie ever released? Was it A, Fantasia, B, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, C, Steamboat Willie, or D, Dumbo? As a bonus, and this is for 2 points, when was the first movie theater opened within 10 years? And what were the early theaters called? So when was the first movie theater opened within 10 years? And what were the early theaters called? In the words of the GIF, get out. Get out right now. You see, it was a place that you'd go to. Rude. All right. Anyways. Number 2. What movie released in 1927 marked the introduction of talkies, or rather, the sound era of motion pictures? Was it A, The Jazz Singer, B, Chicago, C, For the Love of Mike, or D, Arizona Bound? Again, number 2. What movie released in 1927 marked the introduction of talkies, or rather, the sound era of motion pictures? Was it A, The Jazz Singer, B. Chicago, C. For the Love of Mike, or D. Arizona Bound? Bonus, what film featured the first successful use of color? What film featured the first successful use of color? Remember, everybody, no answers in chat. Write them down, and you can enter them into the quiz form for later scoring by moi. All right. Number 3. In what 1976 movie does Robert De Niro say the famous line, "You talking to me?" Was it A, Meet the Fockers, B, The Godfather, C, Taxi Driver, or D, Goodfellas? Again, in what 1976 movie does Robert De Niro say the famous line, "You talking to me? You look like you're talking to me." Was it A, Meet the Fockers, B, The Godfather, C, Taxi Driver, or D, Goodfellas? Bonus. In what decade, within one decade on either side, was the world's earliest confirmed 3D film shown to an out-of-house audience? What that means is a theater. So, in what decade, within one decade on either side? So, let's say it's 1940. If you guessed 1930 or 1950, you'd still be correct per this. But in what decade was the world's earliest confirmed 3D film shown to an out-of-house audience? I always suggest trying the bonuses because you never know. You never know. That's literally 30 years to guess. All right. Number 4. For what movie did Steven Spielberg win his first Oscar for Best Director? Was it A, The Post, B, E.T., C, Lincoln, or D, Schindler's List? Out of house means that they were out of the house. They were in a theater. For what movie did Steven Spielberg win his first Oscar for Best Director? A, The Post, B, E.T., C, Lincoln, or D, Schindler's List? As a bonus, true or false? The code featured in the Matrix movies is actually made from sushi recipes. True or false? The code featured in the Matrix movies is actually made from sushi recipes. All right. Number 5. What is globally the highest grossing film of all time? A, Avengers Endgame, B, Titanic, C, Avatar, or D, Gone with the Wind? So, what is globally the highest grossing film of all time? A, Avengers Endgame, B, Titanic, C, Avatar, or D, Gone with the Wind? Shireen, thank you for gifting a membership. Renee Foster, look at that. You said you were so nice. You said congrats to the memberships, and boom, you got one. Look at that. Look how that works. Oh, thank you. There's a very good reason for that, because if I don't, somebody could catch an inflection for the answer, and I don't want that to happen. But also, I know that I will never match RA in his voice, but I can try. All right, bonus, true or false? Most of the animal noises you hear in the Avatar film are recycled. Most of the animal noises you hear in the Avatar film are recycled dinosaur noises from Jurassic Park. Again, most true or false? Most of the animal noises you hear in the Avatar film are recycled dinosaur noises from Jurassic Park. All right. Number 6. What color do Mean Girls wear on Wednesday? Is it A, purple, B, yellow, C, pink, or D, black? What color do Mean Girls wear on Wednesday? A, purple, B, yellow, C, pink, or D, black? And as a bonus, what Saturday Night Live alum was one of the writers of the movie? Hint, they were in the film as well. What Saturday Night Live alum was one of the writers of the movie? Hint, they were in the film as well. All right, number 7. Which musical based on Romeo and Juliet won an Oscar? Was it A, Grease, B, West Side Story, C, The Sound of Music, or D, The Wizard of Oz? 7. Which musical based on Romeo and Juliet won an Oscar? A, Grease, B, West Side Story, C, The Sound of Music, and D, The Wizard of Oz. That one, you broke me while I was reading. I saw it. It popped up right in my eyes went. All right. Bonus, true or false? Buzz Lightyear, famous from the Toy Story franchise, was very nearly called Lunar Larry. True or false? Buzz Lightyear, famous from the Toy Story franchise, was very nearly called Lunar Larry. Shh, he's here. He's here, everybody. Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. All right. Yes. Number 8. Or wait, whoa. What happened? Did I mess up? Oh no. Well, all right. So that was number 7. This one's number 8. Hold on. I'm gonna fix this real fast. No wonder I didn't have as many as I thought I was gonna have. I can't math, y'all. All right. Okay. Number 8. I will come up with a question that is number 10. What is the name of the secret agency that polices aliens disguised as humans in the 1997 film starring Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones? Was it A, Alien Agency, B, Gemini Men, C, Men in Black, or D, Bad Boys? What is the name of the secret agency that polices aliens disguised as humans in the 1997 film starring Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones? Was it A, Alien Agency, B, Gemini Men, C, Men in Black, D, Bad Boys, or E, Scientology? See, it's there. Not that one. Not an option. Bonus, true or false? Tim Burton directed Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. True or false? Tim Burton directed Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. All right, number 9. What animal does groundskeeper Carl fight against throughout the movie Caddyshack? Is it A, a gopher, a B, a squirrel, or C, rabbit, or D, dog? What animal does groundskeeper Carl fight against throughout the movie Caddyshack? Gopher, B, squirrel, C, rabbit, or D, dog? Bonus points, true or false. James Cameron was the actual artist behind the pencil drawing of Rose in the Titanic. True or false. James Cameron was the actual artist behind the pencil drawing of Rose in the Titanic. How's it going, everybody? Sorry, I'm looking one up for number 10. She did, but she was in a bathing suit. It's not related at all. You're correct. All right. All right. Here we go. Number 10. True or false? In the movie Fight Club, which we don't talk about, but in the movie Fight Club, there is a Starbucks cup in every scene. In the movie Fight Club, there is a Starbucks cup in every Fight Club scene. True or false? I will for those of us who are visual, I'll I'm a very visual person. So true or false, there is a Starbucks cup in every Fight Club scene. Oh, everybody wants a bonus too, huh? Let's see. Sorry, everybody. None of these make sense. None of these make sense. Okay. Bonus. Here's your bonus. Here's your bonus. All right. On the set of the film Scream, an actor was actually stabbed. On the set of the film Scream, an actor was actually stabbed. All right, let's go back through these, shall we? All right. Number 1. What was the first feature-length animated movie ever released? Was it A, Fantasia, B, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, C, Steamboat Willie, or D, Dumbo? Bonus 2 points. When was the first movie theater opened? Within 10 years. And what were the early theaters called? Let me check. Worldwide. I'm going off of a site that I think is reasonable. Oh, that's unfortunate. Maybe they'll have a better time. Okay, so I'll explain this one more time in a second in terms of where you go and what to click on. I'll do a visual so you can see it too. I'm going to go through this one more time. So what was the first feature-length animated movie ever released? A, Fantasia, B, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, C, Steamboat Willie, or D, Dumbo? Bonus, when was the first movie theater opened? Within 10 years, worldwide. And what were the early theaters called? Number 2. What movie, released in 1927, marked the introduction of talkies, or rather the sound era of motion pictures? A, The Jazz Singer, B, Chicago, C, For the Love of Mike, D, Arizona Bound. Bonus, what film featured the first successful use of color? In what 1976 movie does Robert De Niro say the famous line, "You talking to me?" A. Meet the Fockers. B. The Godfather. C. Taxi Driver. D. Goodfellas. Bonus. In what decade, within 1 decade on either side, was the world's earliest confirmed 3D film shown to an out-of-house audience? Number 4. For what movie did Steven Spielberg win his first Oscar for Best Director? A. The Post. B. E.T. C. Lincoln. Or D. Schindler's List. Bonus, true or false, the code featured in the Matrix movies is actually made from sushi recipes. Boom! Number 5. What is globally the highest grossing film of all time? Was it A. Avengers Endgame, B. Titanic, C. Avatar, or D. Gone with the Wind? True or false? Lisa, I'm reading your response. I think it might be the same thing. And if it's not, I will take international into effect. If I find that answers are different, I usually just fling points at everybody for it in case things aren't consistent. So I promise I take care of y'all. Okay, bonus, true or false? Most of the animal noises you hear in the Avatar film are recycled dinosaur noises from Jurassic Park. Number 6. What color do Mean Girls wear on Wednesday? A. Purple. B. Yellow. C. Pink. Or D. Black. Bonus. What Saturday Night Live alum was one of the writers of the movie? Hint, they were in the film as well. Which musical based on Romeo and Juliet won an Oscar? A. Grease. B. West Side Story. C. The Sound of Music. D. The Wizard of Oz. Bonus, true or false? Buzz Lightyear, famous from the Toy Story franchise, was very nearly called Lunar Larry. Wait, what's getting heated? Nothing's heated. There's no heat. 8. What is the name of the secret agency that polices aliens disguised as humans in the 1997 film starring Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones? A. Alien Agency. B. Gemini Men. C. Men in Black. D. Bad Boys. Bonus, true or false? Tim Burton directed Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Number 9. What animal does groundskeeper Carl fight against throughout the movie Caddyshack? Is it an A, gopher, B, squirrel, C, rabbit, D, dog? Bonus, true or false? James Cameron was the actual artist behind the pencil drawing of Rose in the Titanic. True or false? James Cameron was the actual artist behind the pencil drawing of Rose in the Titanic. Number 10, true or false? There is a Starbucks cup in every Fight Club scene. And as a bonus, on the set of the film Scream, an actor was actually stabbed. You made it. You made it through the blockbuster quiz. All right. So, how can you enter the questions or the answer? How can you enter the questions? So what you'll do is you go to our linked our LinkedIn, our link tree. Okay. And you scroll down to where it says Night Court quiz Party and click on that. And what that's going to do is that is going to open the quiz form. And so you will enter in your okay, so here's the deal. In order to get a confirmation that you received that I've received your quiz, you enter your email in. I don't collect them, but that's how it will send you that I received it. Then you enter your YouTube screen name in the space below. And if this is your first time, next time you just enter the same thing every time. That helps me filter things out. Then on what date was this quiz given? So today it's 9/22/23. That also helps me fill out the stuff. You click on the link here. It's just above your comment, AJ. So once you get there, click on that link to the form, and then you'll fill it out, all the questions. You will notice this. I've added a bonus line. So question 1, and then question 1 bonus. Question 2 bonus. Question 3 bonus. So you will find those throughout there. So fill those suckers out. Let's see. I think that's it. And then you hit submit, and that's where you turn on send me a copy of my responses if you would like to. Hopefully that answered that. And then what happens is on the back end, I get all of your answers, I score them, and then we have a final chart, just like we always do, on a regular on the show. Okay. All right. Well, everybody, you made it. We're gonna watch this for a bit. And then actually we don't have much more of this portion. So we'll probably get through this portion and then we'll be out of here. Thank you all for being here. I'm gonna hit play on this and we're gonna watch just how ridiculous Juan gets. Also, I won't lie, I'm proud of this thumbnail. OppenJuaner. Just because that's how I feel this is going. So here we go.
Premeditation, in terms of time, does not necessarily have to be prolonged. So in this particular case, there are 2 types of premeditation. The one where she thought about it since the end of May 2008, and she made the preparations. And the other premeditation when she was at the house. He was killed in 3 different ways. The stab wound to the heart would have killed him. Obviously, the slitting of the throat would have killed him. And the shot to the face would have killed him. All of it did not happen in one instance. It took a period of time. And that, although it was approximately 2 minutes, what this jury instruction tells you is that the time needed for reflection is not necessarily prolonged. And the space and time between the intent or knowledge to kill and the act of killing may be very short. It could be seconds. It could be 4, 5, 6 seconds. And in this case, there was more than that. What she did is she stabbed him first. He wasn't dying quick enough. And she was afraid he was going to live. As he stumbles away, tries to get away, she chases him down. Then she slits his throat, and then for good measure, shoots him in the face.
We're just finishing this video.
And that's the only way that you can
There's
tell.
still a little more to
Where
go.
it is falling on top of the blood. They did talk to you about what is called self-defense. And they said to you, well, we're not going to read the whole thing to you. We're just going to read a portion of it. And they read a portion of it that was on top of page 13, and they said to you, the use of deadly physical force is justified if a reasonable person in the situation would have reasonably believed that immediate deadly physical danger appeared to be present. Actual danger is not necessary to justify the use of deadly physical force in self-defense. And they said to you, the use of deadly physical force is justified if a reasonable person. And they said, she's a reasonable person. No, that's not what the statute says. The statute said, or the law says, a reasonable person. It doesn't say that the defendant is a reasonable person. The defendant is a liar and a killer. That's not what it says there. It says a reasonable person, a person that is involved in those circumstances. And that's not the defendant. It's not just because it's her, that's what we're talking about. But let's read the whole instruction. It's called Justification for Self-Defense Involving Physical Force. And again, there's going to be an argument. They made it for you, but they didn't give you the full argument. They didn't talk to you about the whole jury instructions. It tells you that a defendant is justified in using or threatening deadly physical force in self-defense if two conditions exist. And then it sets out for you what those two conditions are. It talks about a reasonable person in the situation. They're talking about not the defendant, but what a reasonable person. Presumably the way the defense attorney explained it to you and the way that you were chosen, you are the reasonable people. You are the reasonable person, the way they explained it to you. A reasonable person in the situation would have believed that deadly physical force was immediately necessary. Here, in order for you to believe that this is deadly, that this is something that is available, you would have to believe that even after all of the lies, even after the fact that she presented evidence to you about these gas cans, about the fact that she used Priceline when she didn't, the fact that her journals say something when they say something else, the fact that she lied to her doctors, all of that. You have to decide that even in light of all of that, you have to believe that force was immediately necessary because she told you so. That's the only way that you would know that it was immediately necessary, because she told you so. Why would deadly physical force be necessary after she stabbed him the first time? It wouldn't be. Why would deadly physical force be necessary after she slashed his throat? Everybody knows that the person, if you slash him that badly, is done. Everybody also knows, for example, if they want to take the shooting first, that if you shoot somebody in the head, that's it. Deadly physical force was immediately necessary. If you have already one of the three killings already done, then you don't need to do the other two. And the reason that I point that out is because that shows that her intent here was to kill, not to defend herself. That's what she was doing. And then it talks about to protect against another's use or apparent, attempted, or threatened use of unlawful deadly physical force. What physical force do you see that Mr. Alexander applied to the defendant? What injuries was she able to talk to you about that Mr. Alexander inflicted upon her? Well, she claims that one was to the head, but there's no verification of that. The only injury that she had that day, the only injury that was verified that she had that day, was the injury to her left finger, and she said she got that stabbing him. So what injuries does she have? Or what use does he have? What threats do we have? Well, she says and claims that he said that he was going to fucking kill you, bitch. That's what she says that he said. But again, it's all predicated on believing a liar. Somebody who lied to you about important facts in this case, about things such as the gas can. Why would she have to lie about that? Because if she didn't, then the issue of premeditation is very clear. And number two, the defendant used or threatened no more deadly physical force than would have appeared necessary to a reasonable person in the situation. Well, what's a reasonable person in that situation? A reasonable person in that situation would see that the victim, Mr. Alexander, was naked. They would also see that he was sopping wet because he had just been in that shower. They would also see that he was sitting down when this happened. They would also see and know that not once in his lifetime, and that lifetime that was cut short, not once in that lifetime did he ever lay a hand on her. Not once. There is no evidence that he ever laid a hand on her, ever. So a reasonable person where this individual had never ever touched her, because you have to believe her and believe those journals that have to be
for those. But I'm
interpreted through the secret,
around for that. We're going to go straight to the end.
You would have to believe her in order to believe that physical force was even necessary at all. There's no indication at all that he ever even touched her. There were situations, for example, when she told him, according to her journal, that she was leaving. And how did he respond to that? He kissed her tenderly 3 times. Is that deadly? Is that force? Well, you could say that his lips were, what, deadly weapons as he gently kissed her, although she loved his lips. Is that what we're talking about? How about with regard to the supposed...
Pause for the cause.
Oh, yeah?
Hi.
Hey! How's it going?
Hello. It's going good. Hi, friends.
That's
Hi.
fantastic. What cool people are you hanging out with?
I am here with my friends.
What?
I'm here.
I'm so Are you okay? It's a convention.
It is.
I feel like there's a crime that's about to be committed.
Yeah. Do y'all want to say hi? Do you want to wave to my people?
Yeah. Hi, we're on YouTube. Oh, snap. What's up?
Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Hello.
Are we live?
Yeah.
We're live.
He's live on our night court. So.
Is that JT?
Yeah, it's JT Bruce. JT Bruce.
Hello.
They kicked out of the bar. It's only 10.
It's
Yeah,
a
we're about to
me.
get we're about to get kicked out of the bar.
Oh, okay. Well, have fun with that.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll take this party to the pool.
There- I'm in the wrong dang state. That's what I'm in.
Yes, it is, and Carrie. Yep. Y'all are so smart. Yep. So we are hanging out, and I just saw that you were live, and my phone's gonna die soon, but I wanted to pop in and say hello.
Well, thanks.
Yes. All right, y'all have fun. Get back to your trial. I will talk to y'all later.
All right. Bye, Brandi.
Bye.
I'm just going to be jealous for a while. That's fine. All right.
An incident that happened on the 22nd of January of 2008. Is the indication or the written word that says nothing noteworthy happened at that time. Is that an indication, or is that telling you that he struck her? No, that's just the opposite. And how about the other incident that she claims that happened in August of 2007 after she was peeping inside his window and looking at him with another woman? What about that one? Well, that didn't happen that day. According to her, it happened the next day when he was banging his head up on the closet over and over. And according to her, that was when he didn't touch her but didn't want her to leave. Where even under that stretch, it's still not physical violence. The last incident that she describes is the one that right before she left to go to Wairika, where supposedly she passed out. No indication whatsoever with regard to that one, because she claimed that she had visible bruises. No indication from the witness stand other than from her that she had bruises. No indication from anybody. And remember, what's interesting about that one is that she got that right before she left. And shortly after that, within 2 days, she was with her family when presumably these
What goes on in Orlando stays on YouTube.
bruises would have been evident. You didn't hear from the witness stand at all that there were any bruises whatsoever. So then, there is no deadly physical force that can be even remotely available to her because he never touched her in that fashion. Again, it does say that a defendant may use deadly physical force in self-defense only to protect against another's use or apparent attempted or threatened use of physical force. She claims that he threatened physical force. Are you going to believe her? And remember, the earlier jury instruction talks about a situation where the credibility of witnesses is determined by applying it or thinking of it in terms of an important event in life. So with regard to important events in life, do you think anybody would take the defendant's statement? For example, an important event is what kind of medical care a child is going to receive. If you had a liar such as the defendant, would anybody take her advice as to how to take care of that individual? You wouldn't. And then it says self-defense justifies the use or threat of deadly physical force only while the apparent danger continues. If there is no danger, there is no apparent danger. It also indicates that it ends when the apparent danger ends. If there is no apparent danger, then deadly physical force cannot be used. And additionally, it says the force used may not be greater than reasonably necessary to defend against the apparent danger. This individual, Mr. Alexander, was naked. He didn't have any deadly weapons on him. He was sopping wet. He was sitting there. There was no way that he could possibly threaten her at all. Just not at all. It does talk about what we just previously indicated so that we can put it in context. The use of deadly physical force is justified if a reasonable person in the situation would have reasonably believed that immediate deadly physical danger appeared to be present. Actual danger is not necessary to justify the use of deadly physical force in self-defense. In this case, as I said before, there was never anything that you had from the witness stand other than from the defendant who indicated to you that she was fearful. And if she's the only person who indicated that and she has these credibility problems, it is clear that this standard isn't met.
They're obviously playing Sudoku.
It says you must decide whether a reasonable person in a similar situation would believe that. And what is that they have to believe? Deadly physical force was immediately necessary to protect against another's use or threatened use of unlawful deadly physical force. We've discussed this already. And then you must measure the defendant's belief against what a reasonable person in that situation would have believed. We've talked about that already. And it does say that a defendant has no duty to retreat before threatening or using deadly physical force in self-defense if the defendant has a legal right to be in the place where the use or threatened deadly physical force in self-defense occurred. Again, in order for this to apply, to say that she has no duty to retreat, you still have to look at what a reasonable person would have done. A reasonable person in these circumstances, as the defendant has described them, if any of it were true, would be that there's a naked guy in the shower. And there's naked guy in the shower is mad at her and she's already got a head start down the hallway. Well, if that's the case and she's running away, this tells you that although she has no duty to retreat, a reasonable person would have taken a left other than a right according to her.
Objection misstates the law.
Overruled.
Reasonable person would have just left. Is he going to follow her down the street naked? No, of course not. And was the second prong is was not engaged in an unlawful act at the time when the use or threatened deadly physical force in self-defense occurred. Again, there has to be this threat before this is even activated. It is true that the state has the burden of proving this beyond a reasonable doubt. You have to be firmly convinced, and it does tell you what happens if the state fails to carry this burden. The only evidence that you have in this particular case about whether or not the use of force here was justified, keep going back to it. It's like a parrot on a stick. I know I must sound like a parrot on a stick. Keep going back to the same thing. That would mean that you would have to believe the defendant. And the defendant is somebody has demonstrated to you that throughout these proceedings, whether they be outside of the courtroom, in person to the detective, by telephone call to the detective, speaking with her friends, speaking to the psychologist, or coming in here and speaking here to you, throughout this whole thing, she has lied. It requires you to put all of that aside and say, something magical happened. And because something magical happened, I'm going to believe her as to this very limited thing, even though she's lied to us and she's lied to everybody else. And then it talks to you about whether or not there have been past acts of domestic violence against the defendant by the victim. Where are they? Where's the proof of that? There is absolutely nothing other than the defendant's own statements. And it talks about the state of mind of a reasonable person shall be determined from the perspective of a reasonable person who has been the victim of acts of domestic violence. But if there have been no acts of domestic violence that have been proven to you, then she does not fall in that category. And then it talks about what domestic violence means, and it lays out the relationship issue, and then it talks about what the potential crimes could be. Well, you're left now to decide whether or not, as to premeditated murder, because they did not discuss the felony murder issue, whether or not there was any premeditation, or whether or not there's second degree, or whether or not this is manslaughter. It bears repeating, and you've seen these, that premeditated murder requires that the defendant, and we can personalize it, Jodi Ann Arias, caused or killed Travis Alexander. Yeah. She put that knife in really good in his chest. She slit his throat, and she shot him in the face. Yeah, she did do that. And did Jodi Ann Arias intend or know that she would kill Travis Victor Alexander? Absolutely. That's why she went for the throat. That's why she just gutted him. And that's why she stuck it in his chest. And that's why she shot him in the face. There was this argument that, well, if she's dragging him back, she would have to aim. No, she wouldn't. He was shot in the right temple, as opposed to them telling you it was the left temple. And if she's dragging him this way down the hallway, his right temple would be the one that would be most open to her. And she just took the gun and shot him. He was already dead at the time. And did Jodi Ann Arias act with premeditation? She did. Premeditation means that Jodi Ann Arias intended to kill Travis Victor Alexander. She sure did. She sure did. And after intending or knowing that she wanted to kill him, did she think about it? Well, sure she did. You think that she got the gun in Rodrigo, the .25 caliber, for any other reason other than to kill him? Do you think that all of these gyrations in preparation for her trip, or these preparations that she took, do you think that those were for any other reason other than to kill him? Do you think that she called Daryl Brewer and said, hey, I want these 2 gas cans because I'm going to Mesa, and then I'm going to lie to people about it? But do you think that she said that? Do you think that she called him for any other reason other than that she wouldn't be found out that she was coming to Mesa? Of course not. And the fact that she bought a 3rd gas can, that was for the purpose of going undetected. The fact that she turned off her cell phone, the fact that she took off the license plates when she arrived at his place, all of that was so she would go undetected when she killed him. And so she reflected, she thought about it, or knew, which is what is required. And then it tells you that she didn't have to think of it for a long time. It can be a short period of time. It tells you that it's reflection regardless of the length of time. In this case is unique in the sense that you have a continuing aspect of premeditation. You have a very long period of time in which she undertakes these preparations, and then you also have a shorter period of time in which she kills him 3 times over. And so there's the premeditation either way, and it tells you that's the difference between first degree and second degree. It also advises you that it is not, and I'll just read it, that while reflection is required for first degree murder, the time needed for reflection is not necessarily prolonged, and the space of time between the knowledge or the intent to kill and the killing of the defendant by the defendant of Travis Alexander may be very short. It does talk to you about premeditation not being the instant effect of a sudden quarrel or heat of passion. And I will point out to you again that Jodi Ann Arias is the only person that indicates that there has been a sudden quarrel or heat of passion. Nothing in the scene itself indicates that. In fact, the scene indicates something else. She actually took some time to delete some photographs from the camera. She actually took time to make sure that she didn't get the bloody footprints onto the carpet. She took time to put the camera in the washing machine, and she took some extra time to kind of wipe up the scene, drag him back, and stick him in the shower. Now, the issue here is that in terms of the instructions, if you find that the defendant is guilty of premeditated murder and or felony murder, which is the state's position, then you do not consider second-degree murder. You do not start with manslaughter and go up. You don't start with second-degree murder and go up. You start with first-degree murder. And once you're done with that first-degree murder calculation, that's the end of the story. Second-degree murder is the same thing as first-degree murder, except there's no premeditation. Clearly, in this case, there is premeditation. And manslaughter actually has another element that's added to it, in addition to what second-degree murder is. There has to be a sudden quarrel or heat of passion. And in order for there to be a sudden quarrel or heat of passion, the defendant has to be believed. But let's talk about manslaughter and the elements. It tells you that if and only if you find the elements of second-degree murder were proven beyond a reasonable doubt, you must then consider whether the homicide was committed upon a sudden quarrel or heat of passion. That's the added element, resulting from adequate provocation by the victim. The provocation here is supplied by Jodi Ann Arias. She's the one that's telling you that he's the one that came after her. But again, it's predicated on you believing her. And it talks about adequate provocation means conduct or circumstances sufficient to deprive a reasonable person of self-control. Well, if it's Ms. Arias that is telling you, is there even any provocation whatsoever? It does say that words alone are not adequate provocation to justify reducing an intentional killing to manslaughter. If a naked guy, as Mr. Alexander was, is in the shower shouting at you, that's not enough to justify manslaughter. Because you can imagine how many situations there are when people get into shouting matches, and that's not appropriate to then shoot them or stab them or slit their throat. And then it talks about a cooling off period between the provocation, i.e., and the killing. And the cooling off period is the time it would take a reasonable person to regain control under the circumstances. Since there is no proof whatsoever that there was any provocation on behalf of the victim, there is no indication whatsoever that Mr. Alexander did anything other than what the defendant says. And according to her, he said a fifth grader, or words to that effect, could take better pictures than you. That's not sufficient provocation.
Finish her.
It goes on that if you do find the elements of second-degree murder were proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and then it tells you how to decide this case if you find yourself in that position. It is the state's view that nothing in this case indicates that this was anything other than a slaughter, other than a premeditated killing of a guy, Travis Victor Alexander, who just didn't want to have anything to do with her. There's no indication here that he went to visit her. Yes, there was a telephone call that was made, and yes, they were enjoying, or he was enjoying himself, and apparently, according to what the phone call sounds like, she was enjoying herself. But what actually seems, or what is going on here, because we can say this as a result of the May 19th, 2008 instant message, is that Mr. Alexander had tired of her. And he knew of the history. He knew of the stalking behavior that she had. And he was done with her. And so he told her that he was done with her. And he also indicated that he was extremely afraid because of her stalking behavior. And he was prophetic in that. What ends up happening is that on May 26th, they had this argument. You've seen the argument. He says it's the worst thing that's ever happened to him. And that's true. And so what ends up happening again is that it's as if he were pronouncing his own death sentence. And then she undertakes to carry this out. It isn't like he requested it. It isn't like he did anything other than attempt to sort of appease this woman that just wouldn't leave him alone. Whether it be by coming over, taking a ring that didn't belong to her, peeping in his window, doing all of those things that she did, moving to Mesa after he broke up with her, or they broke up, going into his computer, hitting the backspace button, breaking into his MySpace account. All of those things indicate to you that her motivation for this was that she just wanted him. She came over, and what is one act of wanting an individual? Well, to demonstrate that you want an individual is you engage in sexual intercourse. And that's what she did on that particular day. She wanted him. She couldn't let him go. Even from Wairika, she couldn't let him go. There's never an indication that he said that he requested her to come there. Those are her words, and she kept saying them over and over like mantra. And so on that date, when she finally got there, she came ready to go. And by ready to go, I mean she brought over the weapons, and she spent some time with him. And then when he was in the shower, he was no match for her. And she took care of business. And you know how she took care of business. And because she took care of business, and because she stabbed him in the heart, and because she slashed his throat, and because she shot him in the face, and because she premeditated it,
Soapy Water sponsor
you now have a duty.
this trial.
And this duty requires you to take into account the jury instructions. And these jury instructions are not something that you can disregard. They're mandatory. Apply them to the facts. And the facts, again, involve an individual who has lied consistently throughout. And based on that, you are to reach a decision as to whether or not the defendant committed first-degree murder. In a circumstance like this, again, you can only make reference to what other people have said, perhaps with regard to other important times of their life. And there's a poet, John Donne, and again, it's just a reference to him. It's close to the quote, but the reference that I want to leave you with is that when you're involved in this sort of situation, you have to sit back and you think about it, and you think about what is going on. And he wrote, every person's death diminishes. So therefore, send no one to find for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. And in this case, what it's telling you is that you now have the burden to apply this end to the facts that were presented. And in doing so, I am asking you to return a verdict of first-degree murder. Not only of premeditated murder, but also of felony murder. Not because it's an emotional decision that I want you to reach like them by saying that something's nonsensical and that sort of thing, or making an argument just for its own sake, but because in this case, Travis Victor Alexander was slaughtered by this woman.
Objection.
When she slashed his throat, she stabbed him in the heart, and then she shot him in the face. And all of that, thinking about it in advance. Thank you.
All right, so, we're still going to finish this. There's 10 minutes left. However, I do believe that we're about to hear the verdict. So here's the deal. After this video is over, we have this many more left. And I think we can finish it on Monday, ideally. Yeah. Hopefully. And then we move on. Yes. All right, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn to page 2 of your jury instructions.
Maybe not. Hold on.
I want to repeat 2 instructions I gave you.
No, you don't. We're going to skip this.
Deliberations or wish to communicate with me on any other matter, please utilize a
jury and protect their deliberations from all outside interference to help.
Here we go.
Bailiffs will show you where you will be reporting on Monday. You are excused. Please be seated. The record will show the presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand you have reached a verdict. The verdict form has been handed to the bailiff.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Please come forward. The clerk will read and record the verdict.
The State of Arizona versus Jodi Ann Arias, verdict, count 1. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action upon our oaths, do find the defendant as to count 1, first-degree murder, guilty. 5
And there was
jurors
much
find
rejoicing.
premeditated, 0 find felony murder, 7 find both premeditated and felony. Signed, 4-person. Is this your true verdict? So say you want it all?
Ladies and gentlemen, the clerk is now going to ask each of you a question. Please answer yes or no.
Juror number 1, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 2, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 3, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 4, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 6, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 7, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 9, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 12, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 13, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 14, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 16, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 18, is this your true verdict?
over,
Yes.
Game over.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the next phase of the trial will begin tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Please be here at 12:45. Between now and then, the admonition continues to apply. Do not speak about this case. Do not view any media about this case. Are there any questions? You are excused.
Please stand for the jury.
Oh, the only thing I could say to that is this.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
All right. Look, we did it. We did it. Woo! We made it. All right. Perp walk. No, it wasn't in the video. No perp rock. Okay. I think this is perfect. This is a perfect time. We're gonna pause for the night. I had mentioned abbreviated stream tonight, and I had told the mods also abbreviated stream, as I did my brain. Why did she move to her right behind the lawyer? Probably because she was trying. Some people might say she was trying to look at her parents. I think she was trying to look at Travis's family to see what they thought. Honestly, because so on Monday, what we're going to do is we are going to watch the sentencing. That includes victim statements. So know that that is going to happen on Monday. If that is not something for you, totally understand, 100%. They can get very emotional, rightfully so. They should. And so we will be watching that. If we have time afterwards, I'll try and call up like the jury interview and stuff like that. If not, we'll wrap it up on Wednesday, along with giving the answers to the quiz. Don't forget to submit those by 8:45 Wednesday. And well, we've already previewed Joel Guy Jr., so we'll start moving into that trial. If you did not get to see like 2 of those episodes, if you go into our playlists and click the Joel Guy playlist, you can kind of speed through you can speed through 2 where you see like the document that pops up on the screen, and I read kind of what they discovered. So Yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. Share us. We're on our way to 10K. We're closer and closer every single day. That sounded like the intro to a 90s sitcom. But night court's adjourned. You all take care of yourself and take care of your friends and family. Don't forget to smile. As Pantoufle says, don't let anybody dull your sparkle. Don't do it. And shine on. Shine on, you crazy diamonds. I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye.